So, as I guys, can we start or want me to wait for some time?
Yes, yes, sir, you can start.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, guys. Yeah, let give me a last minute. Okay, let's start. So, guys, I welcome you all for Network Python Automation Training, and I believe very good evening to all. Let's start. I know it's a weekend time, and it will not take more than 1 hour, and I'll try to keep my session interesting. So, before starting with Python network automation, I just wanted to know that there are few people who are coming from different backgrounds. Few of you could be from freshers, few of you who knows network stuff, but they are new to the programming. Few of you, those they know that they are from C++ background, but they really don't want, or they want to put, or they want to grow their career in the Python. So I'll going to tell you that this is the best path that you are for, and this is the best course that you are in. Now, before moving ahead with Python with network automation, I just want to clear one a difference between what is the difference between Python developer and what is the difference between network Python developer, right? So we are lying in this quarter now because we have a knowledge of networking. We are our daily task is to deal with network devices, right? So Python developer, what Python developer will do, Python developer will develop 1,000 lines of code for us and create a module, or we can say packages as well, right? So this creating 1,000 lines of code is a task of Python developer. But being a network Python developer, we just need to use these modules or packages to automate our network equipment, right? So we are not a perfect Python developer to develop entire 1,000 lines of code. What we need is we just need the output that we can automate our devices. So for automating those devices, we are going to use this module or packages which the Python developer has already been created, right? So this is one thing. Now, where we could use this Python network automation, see guys, a basic thing is repetitive task, right? So repetitive task, the day-to-day task that we are doing in our office, which we can reduce. Let's take an example. If you need to upgrade your switches or routers, right? So if you want to upgrade 500 switches, right, the same procedure you're gonna do for one switch, and same procedure you're gonna do for others as well, right? If you want to upgrade the switch or the one switch, the same procedure you're gonna follow for 500 switches, so it's a waste of time, right? In Python network automation, what you can do is you can just write a code for single device, right? And you can upgrade those 500 devices in a one go, right? Within few, I can say if it is 500 devices, within few minutes only, right? 2 or 3 minutes, rather than wasting logging to that device, sending the image and the restart those device and all, right? So we can automate that stuff. Let's move ahead. This is something about me. I have total 8+ years of experience in network domain. I also secured PCEP certification, which is Python certification, CCNA for our network. You all knows automation anywhere. It comes under RPA platform, robotics process automation, then AWS, and recently I have certified with Cyber Warriors. And from 5+ years, I'm doing this network automation. I'm working as a network automation developer in one of the reputed organizations. So that's a small thing about me. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now, part is why network automation is important, right? You may have heard from many of the multinational companies or many of your colleagues that nowadays we all are using the world is going to the network automation stuff. So here for network automation, it will provide the configuration, right? It will gonna help us to configure our devices, right? It will gonna help us to configure our devices. Just like if you want to send something to the devices, we can send it, right? Rather than log into that device, sending that command one by one, this will gonna help you to automate or to send your code directly in one go. Second stuff is monitoring, right? How monitoring will gonna work is we are paying huge cost to our monitoring system, just like SolarWent, right? Orion, we can say that. So guys, we do not need to pay any amount to any particular domain or any particular monitoring system, because Python is free for all, right? So what we can do is we can monitor our entire stuff with the help of Python, right? And we can also get the notifications as well. Let's take an example. If you have a router with us and there are two ISP which is connected, at any point of time that ISP will goes down, right? You will get an alert to your Orion, right? Similar way, what you can do is you can monitor this router with the help of Python, right? And you can customize those alert, right? You can also get an email, right? You can also get the email for those alerts, and also it will gonna help you to handle the P1 or P2 situation if there is. Now let's move ahead. Now third point that I want to tell you is managing those devices. So guys, what is my managing? Managing is like keeping those devices up to date. And we can say vulnerabilities, right? So if we can ask Python to monitor or to manage our devices, because let's take an example, if you are working in a data center part, so you need to keep your device up to date. So in that stuff as well, the Python network automation is gonna help you. And the last thing is testing, right? So testing is like if there is if there is a thing in the let's take an example of switch, right? You just need to test that particular code within that switch, right? So what you can do is eitherly what we if you want to check any command, or if you want to test something, some codes, or let's say some commands of BGP or OSPF, what we used to do, we used to write that command, and it could be possible that the syntax of that particular command will be different, right? So that stuff you can also automate, and you can also use Python for that purpose as well. Let's move ahead. Okay, this is one of the common example that we all are facing in our current organization. Let's take an example. This is router, or let's say this is switch, L3 switch. So in this, there are ISP interface which is connected, and at some time or at a point of time that we have observed this ISP on that ISP interface, we are getting huge amount of input errors, right? And due to that, our customers or our clients is facing issues while buffering or using internet. So at the point of time, let's take you are on the P2 call, right? So on the P2 call, you need to keep the status updated. So as usual process, what you can do is we have to log into each and every routers, and then check that ISP links. What is there any errors or not? No, that is the regular stuff. Now the world is growing, so we have to automate that stuff as well. So what we can do is we can ask Python, right? We can ask Python to give the status, or else the second part is we can, if this interface is connected to the ISP, what I can do is I can even code that interface like this. If the error counters of this interface will goes too high, then quickly shut down this interface. So what will happen is if this particular error will goes high, this interface will be shut down, and your internet will pass through another backup link, and you will also get an alert via email or anything that you have set up. Now if the connection will goes to the backup, then there will be no P2 situation. Then if you got the alert, you can work on this ISP. So in this way, you can minimize your day-to-day task, and it will gonna help you to reduce the priority works as well. Now, again, the first and foremost thing is, guys, we all are human and we all make some mistakes, right? Let's say if you want to upgrade these two switches, switch 1 and switch 2 at the same time, right? But they both are from different families. So by mistake, it could be possible that you have pushed the image of switch 1 to switch 2, right? This is known as human error, right? So we, via automation, via Python network automation, what you can do is you can reduce this human error. There will be no dependency on human to send the codes side by side. Let's say you need to upgrade this entire 6 switches, right? You just need to write a code in one go, right? Which will gonna help you to upgrade only one switches. And then we can take each IP from any of the list or any of the, we can say any of the text from any of the text file, any of the Excel file, from where you have to take the IPs from there, and we can automate that. So, and as well, it is not related to upgrade at one time. After a few years back or after a few months back, if you are thinking to upgrade these switches one more time, no need to rework on those code. You already have code design with us, right? You can use the same code and you can upgrade those switches as well. Now here in this example, what we are doing is we have to set up the gig 0/0 interface of each of the switches, and we need to add it to the VLAN as well. So our usual process is we need to log into the switch, going to the interface, adding to the VLAN. It will gonna take time, almost 2 minutes for each switch, right? So let's say for 6 minutes, it might 10-15 minutes will going to be vested. What we can do is we can configure this everything in a one code, right? We will code this particular thing, and believe me, within 50 or within less than 50 seconds, this code will gonna push to entire 6 devices, right? This is the power of automation, and that is why we are learning it. Now this is a daily stuff. We all have to deal with that. Let's take an example. If there is something which is connected to this particular port and this connection goes down, so obviously you got a ticket. What you used to do, you will log into the nearest switch, then you will get the MAC address, and then again you will get the gateway interface, right? After getting gateway interface, what you will do is you will now log into this particular CDP neighbor interface, right? So if you log into that neighbor interface, right, what you're gonna do is you'll get again the same procedure, right? After this, you'll come to this particular switch where user is connected, and you got to know that, oh, port number 15 is having the issues. It's taking a time, right? It go to the switch this, then this, then this. It's a waste of time, I guess. So what we can do is we can ask Python to keep an eye on each and every switches, right? So whenever this port will goes down, what it will do is it will send you the alert, right, that this particular port has been goes down. So if there is any situation, priority situation in front of you at that time, what you can do is you can monitor those interface, quickly log into this switch, and you can troubleshoot. One more thing I wanted to tell you, that there is a myth that the many people are thinking. When I was taking the interviews for just for network engineers, the feedback that I have got is like, if we are going to to become an automation engineer, then there will be no use of network engineers. No, that is a bad, that is completely a myth. What I can tell you is we need network engineers to troubleshoot the exact thing, right? Why we are learning network automation? To reduce our task, so we can we can invest that time to grow our skills, right? To invest that time to invent more thing in our current process, or it will gonna help you with current organization, right? So that is complete myth that network engineer will lose their jobs. No. Let's move ahead. Now, this slides is from Cisco only. So what Cisco is saying, that the 95% of the network changes today are done manually. So I can take the example, more than 80% of network organization, right? So more than 80% of organization are using their network or dealing with their changes and all manually, right? They have not even started automating stuff, right? So if you're learning network automation, you can play with your own devices. You can do whatever automation that you're thinking of, and then you can automate them. It's a smart move. Let's move ahead. Manual changes led to the configuration errors and inconsistency in the network. I was talking about human errors, right? So if you are doing something manually, it could be possible that you'll make a mistake, and due to that mistake, you have to pay a huge cost. So we can reduce this thing dependency on the regular task for the human. So expanding network changes at the scale of uh, can be problematic. Now, see, for expanding our network changes, it means, see guys, automation is nothing but if you are upgrading something. Let's say if you're upgrading your switch, right? After upgrading, if there is any issue in the reload, we all know that it could go to the Roman mode, right? And then we have to take the console and do the further troubleshooting. That is another case. But automation will also take care of this type of errors as well, right? So we what Cisco is saying, that if you are dealing with this stuff, you can grow your network as well day by day. You can expand your network, right? So this is the good thing that we are learning network automation to automate our networks. So let's move ahead or discuss something for Python only. So guys, Python has been developed by Guido and Rizum in 1991, and in 1999 it has been open for all the users, and in 2006 it has been a most popular language. So guys, almost 7 years it took to become a popular, and now in 2021 we are learning it. So why now there is a craze in market, that why Python is so important nowadays, and why every organization want a network skills as well as automation skills? Because there are many multinational companies just like Google, YouTube, Mozilla, Quora, Dropbox has now started using Python coding in their industries, and that is the main concept of this particular language is hotcake in the market. And there are a few advantages too if you use Python. So advantages is like it has an interactive shell. Don't worry, we have a full concept on our first class, and it is very easy to learn, right? Rather than other programming language in C, C++, Java, right? So guys, see, believe me, if you know these languages as well, this will be very easy to learn. If you really don't know any logic of C, C++ or Java, I just want your interest to learn Python. That's it. Because here in our class, we are starting from Python basics. So whoever who really don't know any programming language as well, I will be happy to teach them how we can deal with Python. So there are predefined libraries as well, guys. So libraries are we can say that modules and packages that I was talking about that Python developer has already developed, that we can deal with that, or we can use that particular libraries to automate our networks. So we can read Excel, anything that you want as an output, or any file, the output that you want in any of the file format, you can convert that with the help of Python, and you can send it to your client as per the requirement, right? So this is a comparison of Java and Python, guys. So see, Java code only writing, or we can say only printing hello world, it is taking almost 7 lines, but in Python only 1 line, right? So here, from here, you can compare how Python language is faster than any other languages, right? Let's move ahead. Now, Python and IDEs. So guys, here, there are two versions of Python. Python 2.0, Python 3.0. 3.0 is the latest one, and which is compatible with our network automation. 2.0 is also compatible, but there are few challenges that I'll share in the first lecture of the regular class, right? So here we are using Python 3 in our regular class. Second is IDE. IDE means integrated development environment, right? So what is that? So guys, see, we are installing Python in our system, but we need something to run that Python to become user friendly, right? So for that, there are few IDEs, few platform that we can run the Python. So that platforms are PyCharm, Notepad++, right? Google Colab. There are many, you can use anything, but here in our class, we are going to use PyCharm, which is more compatible with Python and network automation. And third and foremost thing is network devices. So guys, for network devices, we are going to use two platforms, GNS3 and EVNG, both. So those who are comfortable with GNS3, I'm gonna tell you that as well. Few practicals we will do on GNS3, few practicals we will do on EVNG, right? So don't worry about setup and all. That's it about the theoretical part. Quickly, I'll just show you the syllabus of our class. So what we are going to provide you guys, right? So give me a sec. Okay, sorry for delay. I got it. So this in your screen, I believe there is a demo lab which is showing. So guys, this is our lab, right? So we'll gonna see in details. Before that, let's have a look of the syllabus. So basically, guys, we are giving you 4 modules, and the 5th module is the add-on. So we're gonna share that, or we're gonna discuss that afterwards. Let's move ahead with first module. Let me zoom it for you. So guys, first module name is module 1, which is completely basics of the Python, right? From the scratch, right? Even if you don't know the Python at all, welcome for this module 1. Now it will gonna include all the data types which is required for network automation, then numbers, string, operators. These are the one of the major part that we're gonna cover in our class. Then we have functions, right? If you want to do repetitive task again and again, then functions is very critical important topic for you. Then list, tuple and dictionaries. This is very important topic which include at least 50% of your Python. And if you're going to see in future any of the program, this 3 topics will be there in any of the network automation code. Now another is operators, right? What are the operators we have to deal with? Then handling the files, loops, right? Exception handlings. So basically this is covering your entire, what I can say, entire basics which is required for network automation. And it is not restricted towards network automation too. If you're also learning Python, I was telling about that PCEP, right? So just an general certification, the first level certification of the Python. If you want to do it, you can. And that particular certification also has the same syllabus. Now there is an add-on thing for you guys. It's API. We're gonna discuss about how REST APIs work, how we can deal with XMLs and JSON formats. This is complete module 1, and this is module 2. Let me share that. So in module 2, guys, we have 4 libraries, right? So in these 4 libraries, which include telnetlib, paramiko, netmiko, and napam. I was telling about that Python developer has developed the modules, so they have developed these modules, right? So what, being a network engineer, what we want to do is we need to use those modules to automate our network. See guys, each particular module has 12 to 13 labs, and each module has advanced lab. So advanced lab is like advanced concept, which is a I can say that it's a good advanced thing that you have to deal with, right? Which include all the labs logics into this advanced lab. Now for this, we also have multi-threading and Excel handling. So we all know that handling the devices, let's say handling up to 500 devices one by one, it's a good task because you're gonna learn with the help of these modules. But how to automate those devices at the single time? How to log into that 500 devices at a one time, at a single time? That we're gonna learn in multi-threading, and then how we can do the formatting or fetching the report, pulling, getting the data from Excel, that we're gonna see in Excel handling. So this will complete your module number 2. Module number 3 include the ASA part. So ASA is like we need to deal with the, let me zoom it. So we need to deal with NetMiko, how we can integrate ASA with NetMiko module, then how we can fetch the details, how we can hit that, how we can deal with the access control list and NAT in ASA, that we're gonna see. This include module number 3. Module number 4, it's a pretty advanced stuff, guys. It includes the APIs, right? XML APIs and JSON as well. So we will gonna within 2 or 3 minutes to the Palo Alto with the using APIs. So that's it about our syllabus. Let's move ahead with our lab. This is our live lab. So which include a few switches and routers, Palo Alto firewalls, ASA firewalls, right? Let me give the overview of live session of our lab. See guys, this is our lab. I have already configured the switches. This switch, this is the router. So I have just started only this router and this switch. In short, if you want to deal with many, you can start all and you can play with those devices. So I have already configured the IP of 192.168.1.221 for this switch and 192.168.1.90 for this router, right? So here we are dealing with, we have to automate this router, right, with the help of Python code. Now we will gonna see that how we can automate those router with the help of our Python. Okay, let me resume my screen share, right? So, okay, let's start from the beginning. So guys, here, let me write first line and then I'll tell you what is about. Let me go import connect handler. So as this is a demo class, so because we have not learned about the files and all, so until this, let's consider that I'm telling Python to go to NetMiko. NetMiko is what? NetMiko is package that we saw, right? So let's consider this is the file NetMiko package. This is our NetMiko package, right? And here in NetMiko package, there is a file named as connect handler. Consider like that, right? Although connect handler is object. So what I'm going to tell you is, I'm telling Python go to NetMiko first. My cursor will go to here and import connect handler. So whatever the data that I have written in connect handler, import everything over here, right? So this is meant by first line. Let's move ahead. Now I'm just creating one variable. So guys, variable, consider as a variable is a box, right? It's just a box or memory allocation, we can say, right? So with the name as iOS. So in that box, now we will gonna store something. What thing that we are going to store is, so now here it is the dictionary part. Don't worry about dictionaries and all. Right now, just have a look at what we are doing and what is the logic behind it. So here my device type is Cisco iOS, right? Because it's a iOS device, the router. Then I have the IP. What is the IP that I have given to the router? Quickly check that. See, on the router, I have given 192.168.1.90. So let's write those IP over here. 192.168.1.90. then the username, right? The SSH username. So for SSH username, I have already set up as Dheeraj. Then password. Password I already set up, which is Cisco, right? See guys, here I'm getting lot of red lines, right? That is the reason that we are using PyCharm, because PyCharm is a smart IDE to get if there is any syntax errors, right? And hence we are using PyCharm. So here there is a red line, means there is something that we are doing wrong, because the syntax of dictionary is we need to hit comma after each element. So here let's hit comma. See this red line gone, hit comma, this red line gone, right? So until this point we are now here. I hope this is clear. The first line, we are importing connect handler files. Now here in the iOS, what we are doing is, let's consider this is a memory allocation. In this memory allocation, there is device type, there is IP, there is username, there is password. Right? This is your device type, IP, there is username, and this is password. Now we have stored everything in this iOS. And see, this is considered as zip file now, right? So again, this is demo session, so I cannot give you in why this is what is dictionary, why we are importing it. So just for your understanding, I'm just telling basics thing, right? So consider like this is zip file until for this session. So what we did is we have zip everything into iOS file. Now again, I'm creating one more variable named as net connect is equal to, now here what I'm doing is I am now using connect handler files, right? Whatever the files that I have in connect handler, now we are using. See, this is a declaration. I'm just declaring that I'm going to use this connect handler, and this is a calling that now I will call because I have already declared that. So here we need to pass the data, right? And we need to unzip this particular format. So what we can do is star star iOS. So what this star star will do, this is a quarks data type. Actually we will gonna see in data types part, but just for your info, what this will do is this will unzip or unpack the data, right? So if we write this command, this will go like device type is equal, device is equal to Cisco iOS, the IP is equal to 192.168. This in this format, this will unzip and then it will send to connect handler part, whatever there is a written in connect handler. Right now, just for your info, I'm just printing the message in front of user that entering to the, let me write that, and then side by side we will also check with from our CLI as well, enable mode, right? So until this point, let's go line by line. So this is, see, until this it's zipped every data. Now this point, what this line will do, this line will connect to our router via SSH, because NetMiko works on SSH, right? With this username, IP, and password, right? Now we are at, let's say router 1, we are at this part, right? We all know this is a, we all know the modes, right? 3 modes, obviously, the user mode, enable mode, and a global configuration mode, right? So until this, after this, we are at this part. Now we need to go to the enable mode. How to go to enable mode? We use enable command. But here in NetMiko, we already have a syntax name as net connect, which is object where we have stored all the thing in connect handler, and enable. That's it. If you hit enable, I will be here. Now if I want to check that on which mode I am, see, I want to print this thing r1 hash, means this is a enable mode. So for that, we in NetMiko we have one command name as netconnect dot find prompt. Really guys, don't worry about commands and all, it is very easy, and believe me, after 2-3 classes you are going to be up, means you'll start to do your own code and you're going to play with your own devices, right? So it will gonna give you, it will gonna print the current prompt, means this r1 hash will gonna print in front of us. Now the major part, let's check the interface status, right? Show IP interface brief. So again, I'm just writing output is equal to net connect dot send command. Now I'm sending the command. So what you want to check? Let's say I want to check show IP interface brief. I want to check that. See, this command will just send the command to the router, right? It will just send the command just like this, show IP interface brief, right? And hit enter. Then whatever the result that we will gonna see right now, that we need to see, right? Because sending command will not going to work. We need to see the result as well. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just print that output. That's it, simple, right? Our program will now log into the SSH, then hitting show IP interface brief. Let's run the code. But before running any code, one thing you need to keep in mind, guys, check the connectivity first, right? Check the connectivity of your devices. So what you can do is I'll gonna check the connectivity first. 192.168 1.90. See, I can able to ping that router. Now what I can do is let's run the code. Now it will now go to the router. It will now giving me the first entering to the enable mode. Remember this line find prompt. See, this find prompt output is this, and show IP interface output is this in front of you. Getting it? This is the first code. Now let's check. I want to check show IP or let's check that is there any OSPF is there or not. So what I'll do, simple command, right? Or you can do section OSPF. That is completely depends on you. Let's run. So it will gonna see that if is there any OSPF is there or not. Entering to the enable mode. See, nothing, means there is no OSPF is there. Now what we can do is let's configure OSPF on the router, right? So rather than writing that OSPF command, what I did is I have already created one text file in front of me. This is a text file. Now in this text file, I have written the my commands, right? We if we got any changes in front of us, we used to get this type of file, text file, right? Router OSPF and all. So what I'm going to do is rather than this, I'm gonna use one command to get the input from that file automatically, and let's configure those stuff. Simple. Use output is equal to net connect dot, earlier we were using send file. Now what we were using, send config from file, because we have already configuration in the file, and here we just need to give the name of that file, ospf.txt, right? Again here, now what I will do is let's clear this because I really don't want to store that output here. Copy this command, and here as well we will print output, and after sending the command here as well we will print the output. Let's run the code now. See, this is the router. It is entering to the enable mode. See, now at the last, I mean this line will gives you the blank output, right? Getting this white space, this is the blank line, and this is the output of second line. This show run OSPF that has been configured. If you really want to check to the device as well, you can directly go log into your device. See, you can check that show IP, show run filter section OSPF. See, the same configuration that you'll get in front of you. So that's it about demo. There are a few more than 13 labs. You're gonna see this, we're gonna play with that devices, right? So